Of experience. It's a lot to overcome, but as Mike Boynton, the coach, said, 8 is enough. That is the motto today. They have 8 scholarship guys. You got to get after it on the road.
It's going to have to be enough for the Cowboys to find their 14th win of the season. Oklahoma State controls the tip. Brandon Everett runs the point for Mike Boynton's Cowboys. Lindy Waters, the third, getting the start today. Dumps it inside. It's swatted, but a block before that as the Cowboys try to go through Mitchell Solomon.
I really like that call by Mike Boynton. And early on in this game, we saw it in shoot around. He told us Solomon's going to have to elevate his game today. The guy's shooting 70% from the field. He is incredibly efficient, but only takes 5 shots a game. They want to play through him in the post, get him to the line, or get some easy baskets. And then Jeffrey Carroll, the team's leading scorer, will have to have a big day to overcome Shine and Smith's absence.
Mitchell Solomon, senior from Bixby, Oklahoma. He's been around for a while. He's the 8th member of Oklahoma State's 500-point, 100-rebound, and 50% shooting club, joining the likes of Bryant Reeves and Byron Houston, the former Cowboy greats. Solomon knocks them both down. Arkansas second in the SEC in scoring, nearly 85 points a game. Adriel Bailey back in the starting lineup for the 3rd time in 4 games, and he turns it over and gives it right back to Oklahoma State.
A key for Mike Anderson's team today is to attack the pressure, be strong with the ball, and be smart. Not a good first possession for the Razorbacks. Bailey just loose with the rock.
7th season as the head man here on the Hill. He's won 142 games, had great runs before here at Missouri and UAB, and of course a longtime assistant to Nolan Richardson. Lindy Waters, just a sophomore, facing this Arkansas pressure. He gets it back. Averett looking for something to happen. Shot clock at 10. Here's their scorer, Jeffrey Carroll, off the mark with his first attempt. Beard in a mismatch, trying to go to work on Solomon.
Beard hampered by an ankle injury, rolled his ankle in the Florida game. We saw him yesterday and today. He's still hobbling around a bit. He should be able to take advantage of Solomon, but his explosion is not at the level it usually is.
Jalen Barford, good size in the perimeter, trying to go over the top of Carroll. Waters will pull the trigger. Got it. This Oklahoma State offense is so good when they can just run free. The question is, do they have the depth to do that tonight?
It's going to be tough. They're going to have to be opportunistic like that because Arkansas, honestly, their defense has been their weakness. We know they like to play at tempo, but they're allowing the 2nd most points in SEC play, 84 points per game allowed because of things like that. Poor transition at times. And you take a look, this is easy. You got to identify Willis now as a freshman. He's got to find it. He's got to find that man, Darius Hall, find that man, point and close out, run Waters off the line. Nearly 60% of Waters' shots are threes. If he catches it with his feet set, it is going up.
This is an Oklahoma State team that's coming off of a loss on the road to Texas Tech by 5. They had a fantastic defensive first half against the Red Raiders. Held them to 29% shooting in the first half, and Texas Tech shot 54% in the second half.
That was Tech. The Red Raiders just stepped up their defensive intensity. 11 turnovers the second half for the Cowboys. They couldn't handle it.
Shot clock winds down and out on Arkansas. No recognition by Darius Hall, the freshman from over in Little Rock. Getting another start here today, and the only good news for Arkansas is they can set up their pressure.
Great start for Mike Boynton's team on the road. As we've said, down 2 players. To have great defensive possessions, force a shot clock, force a turnover. They seem locked in right now. Arkansas a little behind the pace. Both these teams talked a lot in shoot around about cutting. You see both these teams like to pressure the ball, pressure one pass away. Good hands by Barford there, leading to a breakout.
And a foul in transition on Jeffrey Carroll. After the steal, you think of Mike Anderson's teams as teams that are going to get after you and come up with a lot of steals. They don't do it as often as they typically do, though.
No, this is not the standard team, the fastest 40 in terms of turning you over, but good active hands by Barford. We're just talking about the pressure. You have to be able to handle the pressure when you've got it on the bounce with the guy in front of you, and your teammates cutting is what both these coaches talked a lot about. Back cuts will be available. Making hard cuts to the ball, meeting the ball. This is a fundamentally sound game, will be critical when both teams pressure.
Speaking of the numbers on Arkansas, 7th in the SEC, only 6.5 steals a game. Another free throw coming for Darius Hall. It's a 4-star recruit by ESPN coming out of Mills University Studies High School. Had his first start a couple weeks ago against Missouri and had a good game against the Tigers.
Yeah, he's got really good length. He's got good explosion in his first step when he catches it on the wing. Still developing his ability to put it on the deck more than twice to create his own shot, but a good energy glue guy.
Solomon, touch inside, high percentage look. The numbers are incredible for Mitchell Solomon. He scores on 86% of his post-ups. Can't find anybody better in the country. That is top tier. Pull-up jumper, and Arkansas is still scoreless. 0 for 2 from the floor. Here's Carroll on the run-out where he is so dangerous. And a freshman, Gafford, comes up with a block. Oklahoma State gets it right back in a bucket and an early timeout for Arkansas.
Got to be smart. You got to make Solomon try to score over you. He gambles, he gets a dunk, then they get a turnover and a quick basket the other way. Let's see how Arkansas responds. Trying to go through Gafford. You see the double team coming.
And then a reach in on Mitchell Solomon will be his first. Speaking of Solomon, we're talking with Mike Boynton today about his success inside, and I said, Coach, his numbers are incredible. When he posts up, he scores in 86% of the time. It's 1.5 points per possession on the post up. He said, yeah, I know the numbers. I've tried to show him the numbers. I don't know that he believes me. They want him to be more aggressive.
Actually said, you want to show him the numbers, Tom? Somebody
I offered.
But he's too selfless, Coach Boyd was saying. He needs to actually be a little more selfish down there to help them.
Corner 3 is buried by Barford. First bucket for Arkansas.
First time that OK State went to that 3-2 matchup zone. Arkansas was prepared. They worked on and shoot around. Big shot, big TO.
Thomas is stealed, and then off the window for Beard, and this is what the Hogs do. Back-to-back buckets, and more pressure coming.
You see Jeffrey Carroll, senior, out there pumping his hands down, telling the guys to relax. Easier said than done. A lot of inexperience on the floor right now as Averett travels.
Doesn't matter if you're left shark or right shark. It's Sharkensaw, and they are riled up here at Bud Walton.
You really only have 2 ball handlers on the floor, really one in Averett, and Waters can a little bit, but both those guys are sophomores. They've got to calm down, can't be sped up. Again, that is easier said than done against this pressure and these 20,000 fans that are on top of you.
Another corner 3, and another make. It's Barford again.
Now, we did say that Arkansas's defense can struggle. They are 19th in the nation in offensive efficiency. You know, they can really score the ball. They can shoot it over the three at over 40%, so they can pour in buckets quickly.
Carroll finds some space. Off the mark. And Waters down on the floor to get it. Here's Jeffrey Carroll, and he will end an 8-0 Arkansas run with a look back to the fans.
All created by Lindy Waters, diving on the floor to get the rebound.
Beard rushed it. Carroll with a bump brings it down. Oklahoma State, about midway through conference play last year, opened it up. Their offense went wild. Their defense took a nap, and it carried them all the way to the NCAA tournament.
When you got Juwan Evans running the show and Carroll on the wing, they had some real talent on that squad. Opening up wasn't the worst thing, but defense is what this hallmark of this program, Mike Boynton, wants to be built around.
Mike Boynton's their 3rd head coach in a 3-year span. In a 12-month span, he went from an assistant in the Southland Conference at Stephen F. Austin to a head coach in the Big 12.
It's really interesting as he was talking about that experience. I mean, he expected to get the Stephen F. Austin job. He doesn't get that. Didn't expect to get the Oklahoma State job, and you get this opportunity to coach in the Big 12, and he's taking full advantage of it.
Shot clock at 6. Waters left open, and he's fouled on the 3. Oklahoma State has done a fantastic job getting on the ground and getting after it. That's how they did it in Bedlam, stealing it late side by side. That's more than 1,200 wins combined between the two.
It's kind of mind-blowing right there. 2 phenomenal coaches and all that they've accomplished in their careers.
Lindy Waters is from Norman, Oklahoma. Another free throw coming his way. This is the 51st meeting between these two teams. Oklahoma State blitzed Arkansas last year, put 99 on the board. And the Cowboys have won 5 in a row. It's a natural regional rivalry for this Big 12 SEC showdown.
Now, there was a lot of different players for the Cowboys in that game, and obviously a different coach, but Mike Anderson did say, we remember that. We do remember feeling that we got just run out of the building there.
C.J. Jones is on the floor now for Arkansas. He is a streaky shooter and a guy who can heat up quick. Also brought Trey Thompson off the bench. Great passer for a big, and they'll try to work against this 2-3 Oklahoma State zone.
Now, they've got to communicate where the shooters are. Macon with the ball is the shooter, and then Jones 23 in the corner. It's a key for Oklahoma State.
Macon got free, but couldn't knock it down, and then a foul on Trey Thompson, his first. Our Big Monday doubleheader on ESPN, presented by Joseph A. Bank, starts at 7 Eastern with Notre Dame squaring off against number 4 Duke at Cameron Indoor. Then it's a Big 12 matchup between 5th-ranked Kansas and Kansas State. Sunflower Showdown, both games also available on the ESPN app.
Kansas State getting a really big win today against Georgia. Those are two teams. Georgia, I think, is more firmly on the bubble, or might be a team that's going to be left out in March. I know there's a lot of hoops left to be played, but that K-State team is really good, and they're playing their way into a good spot in a brutal Big 12 conference.
By the way, another game in college basketball that kind of got lost in the shuffle amongst this Big 12 SEC showdown. What a huge win for Virginia on the road at Cameron Indoor today.
Oh, it was a great performance by Tony Bennett's team. They do what they do. They defend. They didn't make mistakes. Hall just made a mistake. Traveled there as a freshman. Got to play slower. You catch that ball, jump stop first, be quick, but don't hurry.
It was a triple for Thomas Zagwa on the other side for Oklahoma State. Now the Cowboys on an 8-0 run.
Zagwa's 80, now 90 of his 106 shots are threes. So he's coming in that game hunting threes. That'll drive Mike Anderson nuts. As soon as he checks in, the first thing he does, bury a triple that was wide open.
Played for his dad Don in high school at Tampa Catholic. Broke a 31-year-old high school scoring record at Tampa Catholic. He can shoot. Here he is off the handoff.
Good skip by McGriff.
And it results in a triple from Jeffrey Carroll, his second three. Oklahoma State on an 11-0 run.
And back into that 3-2 matchup. They communicate the shooters again. 4 Macon with the ball, and 23 Jones now with the ball. You got to close out.
Oh, it was halfway home for Jones. And it'll be a chance for a three-point play for Trey Thompson. So thus far in this game, we've had a 9-0 run by Oklahoma State, answered by an 8-0 Arkansas run, and then 11-0 Cowboy run.
Now, again, Jones will shoot it out to 26 feet, but how about a senior Thompson coming in, bodying Zagwa, getting the ball, getting a big layup, helping again to squash some of that Oklahoma State momentum. Big play. When they need a big play, Thompson can step up. He had a great game for Georgia in that Georgia game. Had the block that secured the win at the end. Blocked Deontay Maton from behind. Came off the bench, gave them really good minutes. He tends to do that.
Foul was on Yankuba Sima. Not much depth for Oklahoma State in this game. Remember, Shine and Smith both unavailable. That's a look inside, and the slam by Oklahoma State, and a chance for a three-point play for Lucas Gasson.
This was all created by the pass by McGriff. Now, look at Trey Thompson, number one, when he closes out. We talked about a senior, hands are down. You've got to close out hands high. McGriff is not a shooter, but he can deliver that pass. Back-to-back plays for McGriff. He has assists. One on the skip to Carroll. That beautiful high-low, and Gasson finishes.
Gasson, a 7-footer from the Netherlands. Just 67% from the line.
It's OK State team shoots it well from the line, 77%. They're 17th in the nation.
And that's best in the Big 12. Thomas throws it away. Another Arkansas turnover. That's their fourth. Oklahoma State has doubled up on Arkansas. The question for Oklahoma State is going to go to the bench with Trey Reeves, the son of Big Country Reeves, checking into the game. It's probably a sign of Mike Boynton's depth issues here going into this game.
It really is, and I think he's trying to steal some time right now. It's 12-13. If Reeves can give them maybe 20, 30 seconds, you get the under 12 timeout. Give Carroll an extra, couple minutes of a blow here, which he's going to need it. Can't leave your feet. Zagwa, freshman, sped up, cannot leave your feet there. Fortunately, Beard stepped on the end line.
Early action for Trey Reeves, a walk-on. And Mike Boynton's kind of coaching him through this thing, telling him to calm down. Mike Boynton's played in this building before. He played for Eddie Fogler at South Carolina. Coached under Brad Underwood at Stephen F. Austin. And then last year at Oklahoma State.
Very familiar. Knows it's a tough atmosphere to play. Again, 20,000 people here dying to get going right now, but Arkansas is slow out of the gate. Oklahoma State, this team right now is 5 sophomores on the court. Again, lack of experience. They got to play calm. Don't let Arkansas speed you up and try to get good shots.
Shot clock is at 5. Deep 3. And McGriff charges the glass to find it. Fault 4, and Reeves gets a bucket inside. The walk-on scores in the first half.
And the bench goes nuts. This isn't mop-up time. This is still the game right now. They love the fact that Reeves scored. Big answer by Macon the other way, though.
Daryl Macon for 3. Ten-point Oklahoma State lead. They've had some big first-half leads, especially in conference play, but failed to keep the pedal down in the second half, including that Texas Tech loss last time out.
Yeah, they were great in Texas Tech for the first 25 minutes of that game, but then Texas Tech ratcheted up the pressure. They didn't have the answer.
Reeves trying to get after it. Here's Arkansas the other way with numbers. Deep 3, Macon. Yes, sir, Daryl Macon.
Mike Boynton would like a ball to go out of bounds right now. Get the under 12-minute timeout.
Pressure extended. Brandon Averette with a shot clock at 10. A 2 and a rare one. Back rims. Another offensive board. And Cameron McGriff has a bucket.
Sophomore McGriff is playing out of his mind right now. Tremendous energy. And it's just intelligent plays he's brought to this game. Assists, rebounds, layups.
Averette, the point guard, with the board. He'll push, step through. Oklahoma State's offensive rebounds were through the roof first half against Texas Tech. Then the Red Raiders flipped the script in the second half. Why not? Thompson over Averette. A 2 for Macon. And then an easy look on the putback for Orlando Cook.
Both coaches talked about how critical rebounding would be in this game. You've got to clean that up. That hit Oklahoma State's hands. Both of those missed shots. Got to find a way to come up with that ball.
Loose ball taken away by Barford. Out front, Macon. 8 quick buckets for Daryl Macon. It's a 10-2 Arkansas run. The Razorback.
See the spurt ability of this Arkansas team. To quote Clark Kellogg, they can take off real quick.
Oklahoma State trying to penetrate. Arkansas won't let him. Shot clock is at 4. Averette, tough shot. And Brandon Averette has his first bucket of the night.
Don't want to rely on that big shot by Averette, but I think they need to try to play through Solomon. Mitchell Solomon, get him some touches, play inside out on that end of the floor. On this end of the floor, you want Macon and Barford, were both in the game against this zone, to be aggressive. Either screen them or get that ball in the high post of the zone. Very passive against the zone.
Barford, shot clock winding down, is able to draw rim, and that frees Trey Thompson for a putback. 5 early for Thompson, who averages just 3.
Another offensive rebound, 4 of them now for Arkansas. Big play by Thompson.
McGriff. Cameron McGriff with his second bucket. Ball finds Mitchell Solomon on the rebound. Averette dishes corner. And it's knocked out of bounds by Maker. 31-23. The Big 12 SEC Challenge rolls on from Fayetteville.
Different focus on the game, particularly on our two conferences. A lot of credit to what the Big 12 has achieved so far this year, and an opportunity for us to go up against a really quality set of teams.
Now, Greg, we've seen the SEC develop over the last couple of years. The SEC's yet to win this challenge. Last year, Split have a chance to do it this year. I know you guys invested a lot of resources and made it a priority to get better at basketball. Why was that? What did you guys do to help these teams really progress in such a quick period of time?
Well, it's been a work in progress for a number of years. And, 2 years ago, when it was Selection Sunday, we had 3 teams selected. One of those teams went to Dayton and lost right away. And then to see what's happened last year, we just raised the level of conversation. It's been a continual point of emphasis for us. There's an opportunity to draw crowds and draw interest like we see here in Fayetteville. Had a sold-out arena in Gainesville, not to mention that's happened across the league. So it's really an opportunity to meet our own expectations in comparison to what happens in every other sport.
Were you at all surprised to see how fast things turned around? As you mentioned a couple years ago, it's 3 teams now. Joe Lunardi's predicting 7. I mean, it could be more.
When I sat down back in 2016 and looked where we'd be, and that drove some of the change in thinking, I thought next year we'd be really good. Mm-hmm. Where coaches like Rick and Avery and Ben and others had been in place for 4 years, and obviously Bryce and Mike White have joined, and Conzo this year. So I just thought we'd mature to a point where our coaches have their players, their programs in place, and next year would be the year. So it's nice to see maybe a little bit ahead of what I thought.
There's a question on the shot clock a moment ago, and then Jeffrey Carroll commits his second personal foul. It's been a pretty wild month for you, hasn't it? I mean, what a start to this month with 2 teams playing for a national championship in Atlanta.
Well, the technical start to the month was at the Rose Bowl game.
Yeah. Wow.
And the overtime and the win, and then to see Alabama win in the Sugar Bowl and have both SEC teams in the national championship. And then after all that, to see the viewership, the national interest attracted people watching ESPN's MegaCast was, I think, a tribute to the entire conference and the interest in the SEC, particularly on the national championship stage.
Yeah, because there was some criticism that maybe it wouldn't be of interest because it was so regionally localized. I think we probably learned the popularity of the conference and the love for college football.
Yeah, it just means more, man.
Right? Full of hashtags. Yeah, even when you say them out loud. What a run for the SEC, and that lob off the mark. It was a 3rd major college championship that had 2 SEC teams going head-to-head, going back to women's basketball, and then, of course, baseball, the College World Series in Omaha. I mean, you got nothing to lose in those situations.
That's a very comfortable way to watch a championship, either contest or series. And you're right, the South Carolina-Mississippi State women's game and the Final Four started that streak. LSU, Florida in baseball. It's tough because you have to go console, if you will, the losing team who's come so close but hasn't stepped over that championship edge. But certainly a compliment to the great competition in any number of sports in this conference.
Now, as far as this challenge is concerned, 5th year to do it, and some of the matchups are really intriguing, but you can't help but look at the schedules Rick Barnes did this week and say maybe they could be better. Has there been thought given to having more flexibility in the scheduling once we get into the season, kind of like we used to do a couple years ago with the bracket busters, where you can match people up a couple weeks out?
Well, you've got some need to know how the teams schedule outside of just this weekend. So I hear that. In fact, if you look at our conference right now, we've got Auburn sitting atop the standings, not in the mix for the SEC Big 12 Challenge. In Missouri, who's played well through the year, not in this mix right now. So, and last year we didn't have South Carolina, and we try to rotate some of those teams around. So you could say, well, look at everything and maybe be a little bit more flexible. Yet there are some needs for people to plan that make that a little bit difficult. Good hypothetical, but a little bit difficult in practicality.
Here's Barford from the elbow, and he leaves it short. This would be a huge win for Oklahoma State. And a corner 3. Another for Darrell Macon. As you talk about rebuilding this league from a basketball perspective, you look at the Big 12 and the great coaches they have there. Is it accurate to say this turnaround started with the new coaches who entered this league over the last 3 years?
There's a lot that's happened. I think that's certainly a factor. Coaching is a factor, and being able to attract talent through coaching. But here at Arkansas, they've got a brand new basketball practice facility, a new arena at Ole Miss. You've got a Final Four coach at Mississippi State and Ben Howland, arena reconstructions in Georgia and Florida, and the commitment of real resources, not just in the coaching realm, which is important, but also to have the kind of support staffs and the support facilities that attract the talent that makes the level of improvement what it has been so far for the SEC.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey joining us courtside. You took in the Florida game today. Now you're here for this one. You're not going to shoot over to Morgantown for that big one, are you?
I wish. No.
That'd be a fast.
Yeah, the Concorde maybe.
Well, you know,
out of retirement.
The FAA has limits on how long pilots can be out, so I have to be wheels up at a certain time. I wish.
You spend so much of your time going campus to campus, meeting with not only athletic directors but student athletes as well. What do you enjoy about being on campus?
Well, the interaction with student athletes is the top of that list. I'll actually be at LSU on Tuesday, Ole Miss on Wednesday, and South Carolina on Thursday of this coming week. And, you know, when you're in a conference office, you lose some of that regular interaction. You'll see people at meetings. And so the first part is interaction with student athletes, a little bit of an opportunity to learn what's going on our campuses. You generally get to see contests like this in person. You know, it is fun to actually be a part of the competition that we support so well. So it's kind of a mix of things, Tom. But at the top of that is just to talk to young people who make this conference special and who talk about why it's special.
SEC has been the cutting edge of a lot of moves, including that big move by Daniel Gafford, his first bucket for the freshman, including collaborative replay this year. How's that worked out to this point?
First of all, that's the smoothest transition from a interview question to a play. Wasn't that amazing? Yeah, collaborative replay. I actually don't sit in that video center. I did last week for a couple hours just to understand the mechanics, and I think it's worked well, and we've improved. Terry Moore is our replay official back in Birmingham. We're not using it for non-conference games, which is unfortunate, but it has
points. Offensive, they are superior. They're going to win this game if you can't clean up your defensive glass.
A touch inside, nothing doing there.
And again, Jeffrey Carroll's been on the bench with 2 fouls here for the last 5 or 6 minutes and 5 minutes of play. This makes this Oklahoma State team offensively challenged. Good hustle by Lindy Waters there. But offensively, they are really laboring to get good shots right now. And without Solomon on the floor, too, who's now standing on the sidelines, you are in a little bit of a tough spot again with this group of 5 sophomores trying to figure out who to play through.
The jump ball possession arrow belongs to Arkansas. Daryl Macon has 11 first half points. And he turns it over right into the hands of Lindy Waters. Averette on the run. And it's swatted! Darius Hall, easy bucket, Macon. It's a 94-foot turnaround.
What a huge 4-point swing that is.
Waters answers.
Ice cold. What a response by Waters. Coming off the down screen, they went over that and shoot around. Poor execution by the Razorbacks, but also poor communication by Oklahoma State, allowing Macon to get a wide open 3 there. They were lucky.
Here's Waters out front. He will let it fly again. Wow. What a rebound.
McGriff can get up.
Yeah. Cameron McGriff may have had some contact, but he jumped over the Razorback to pull it down.
Dude's got springs in his legs. That's offensive.
Push off onto Zagwa. It's his first. Meanwhile, Oklahoma State with a triple on the other side.
And great job of the screen. Macon doesn't get over it. Out there late. Waters, you got to run him off the 3-point line. And check out Darius Hall, the freshman. Coach Anderson was all about his energy, what he brings to the floor. Hall does. He got the block. Macon gets the reward, but it's all started by the freshman not giving up.
Well, Mike Boynton might be one of the youngest head coaches among the power conferences, but he was all over that call a moment ago against Thomas DeZagua and wondering if that was a cylinder play. A 6-point Oklahoma State lead. It would be a turnover. And for DeZagua, his first personal foul. They can go to the monitor and take another look and see if it was indeed. Cylinder will give you a look.
See, it's
You think it
Gasson.
was flagrant?
And they're checking if he just threw his hand out, and he did. I mean, that. It's, we saw it in live time. It was easily a foul. And given the fact that it seemed it was an intent, it's not flagrant 2, but you could bring a flagrant 1 for this, and we'll have one of the officials come over and explain it to us. Pat Adams heading over now.
A lot of times, well, that was off the ball and just a clear out with the left hand. Mike Boynton thought that was a cylinder play with Anton Beard within the cylinder of the Oklahoma State player, and that's exactly what Pat Adams saw when they went to the replay, that it was a cylinder play. So we will, if I got it correct, we will rewind to that point and take the foul off to Zagua.
Foul off Gasson, yes, and they will take it off, and they will have the ball. Oklahoma State. It was a cylinder play. You can take a look again. If his legs are straddling Gasson's legs, you look at Beard close out. And if he slides up on him, he is now in his cylinder, they're saying. Right here, he's reaching across. I mean,
you have to have, yeah, I agree with you. You have to give the offensive player room to move. You can't get in his space like that.
Room to pivot. I think you could argue that Gasson, if he didn't extend his right-left arm, he could have pivoted across his body. Mike Anderson does not like the call.
So Oklahoma State basketball with 1:43 to go in the half. A forced 3, and it ends up with Dustin Thomas.
Oklahoma State's become way too reliant on outside shots again without Solomon in the game or Carroll to create in his zone. Good rebound there by Waters out of his area, though.
They're a team, Oklahoma State, that only shoots 33% from deep. Second worst in the Big 12.
I think with this in this group, Averett's going to have to become a little bit more of a creator. If he get in the lane and maybe kick to Waters, kick to Zagua, 2 really good shooters, might help them. Good extra pass.
And another rebound by Gasson, and it will stay this way, to the dismay of the home crowd. This week's NBA Saturday primetime game could be a finals preview. The best in the East takes on the Kings of the West as Kyrie and the Celtics battle Steph and KD and the Warriors. Our coverage tips with the NBA Countdown at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. You can always watch both on the ESPN app. Another possession for Oklahoma State with a 6-point lead.
Important last 45 seconds. You want to execute. You don't want to get a turnover and give anything easy to Arkansas the other way.
Struggles from behind the arc continue.
Not exactly a shot I think Mike Boyd would love as McGriff towing a 3 with 15 left on the shot clock.
Taking 16 threes in his first half. Shot clock at 7, 7-second difference. Macon looking for a high screen. Steps through. What a feed! But no rim, and Oklahoma State trying to push it to get a last shot. Here's Averett with 2. With 1, gets all the way in, and it goes! Brandon Averett takes it the distance with everybody sleeping. And
but can you continue to do it for 40 minutes? Can they clean up the glass? Can they be stronger with the ball will determine this game, because in the past games they've not been able to do that. With the exception of Oklahoma, they made toughness plays down the stretch. They made big shots, and they guarded Trae Young well and his teammates to win that game at home in Bedlam.
Mitchell Solomon with 2 fouls in the first half, only played 11 minutes. He's a key for this Cowboy team. Back on the floor to start the second half, and they get him a touch. And a mismatch. They brought a triple and they stole it away from him. Taken by Dustin Thomas. Here's Barford.
Well, we just said you can't turn the ball over. They walk right in, 6 seconds in, and turn it over. That energizes the crowd, that energizes the Razorbacks, and they get to play at a tempo they want and get some odd man breaks.
Baseline drive and a pass to Gafford, and the freshman loses it out of bounds.
Yeah, Gafford's been really quiet in this game so far. He has 2 points off that dunk and 2 fouls early on, so he didn't get many times to get in the mix there. I took your highlighter, and my man shares the mic with the best of them. Highlighters, not so much.
I'm still
but
working over
point
here.
remains is Gafford has to find a way. Now the teams, he was a player of the week in the SEC, rookie of the week in the SEC last week. Now he's getting higher up in the scouting report, as Mike Anderson was saying. Can he elevate his play and continue to play at a high level? He had no points against the Bulldogs as Averett knocks down the shot last game. Can he elevate his play as teams start to focus on him? We'll see. He's now playing with 2 fouls.
I shared my almonds with you.
You did. You're a great teammate.
There's Gafford with a turnaround. Like you said, the freshman from El Dorado, Arkansas.
When he can get into a groove, he can be really effective. They can get him the ball in the post and score. Oklahoma State will double him when that post comes, and we'll see the freshman how he makes decisions under duress.
Beard gambled on Carroll. Inside Solomon. Wow, he is one of the most efficient post players in the country when he decides to shoot. And he's got a half dozen now.
They need to keep playing through him, especially if Gafford is on him. Attack Gafford.
Thomas off the mark.
Thomas can make that. Good job of getting in the high post. It's a good shot for them, a high post of the zone.
Averett getting fancy. And he finds his man Solomon, who takes a hard foul. And that's going to put Mitchell Solomon at the free throw line. You wanted to see it. So this
is what I'm talking about. Red Panda, eat your heart out. Look at this guy.
Yeah, it'd be cool if he would catch some bowls.
He's like 30 feet up, and he might be pushing 60. Years of age, my friend.
Good luck checking that baggage. Mitchell Solomon has another free throw coming.
I'm going to see if you can do a handstand without any chairs as soon as this game ends. First thing we're doing, walking out in that pig, and we're seeing if you can do a handstand.
Oh,
sorry, that Razorback.
That's probably going to go digital.
Let's hope.
So Solomon knocks them both down. He's got 8 limited minutes in the first half because of foul trouble.
Again, when they're in the zone, they got to communicate the shooters. 4 Macon, a shooter in this group, 0 Barford.
And a block from the side by Sema. Sema.
It's a good spot for Gafford to catch it on the baseline there in the short corner, but doesn't really need to shoot that. Give a little shot fake, draw the defense, kick that right back to Macon. Could be an open 3.
And so Gafford will take a seat. He's got 3 personal fouls and he's replaced by Trey Thompson. All alone, a dump and a finish by Thompson. Nice extra pass by Dustin Thomas.
Great job by Thomas and good awareness. He's a very good passer for a big senior to senior. 7 seniors on this Razorback team, the most in the nation at a high major level along with TCU.
Fantastic passer for his size, 6'9", 265. Corliss Williamson was a great passer back in the day.
Yeah, and he had a guy like Scotty Thurman outside that could knock down threes for him too.
Back rim by Carroll. Barford kicks. Beard. Oh, off the side of the window. And then Carroll fouls Thomas. So that's the 3rd on Jeffrey Carroll.
Nice pass right through the zone. You got to get your hands up. Good awareness. Dropping it off by Thomas. And foul trouble is, again, the depth issue here. There's Scotty Thurman. That dude could fill it up. Watching him shoot yesterday in practice, I had flashbacks to '94. Just watching, he has a very distinctive form back in the day.
Another coming for Dustin Thomas. Carroll will have to take a seat here after picking up his 3rd.
And again, we talked about this in the first half, but Oklahoma State is playing without 2 starters. Devarius Shine and Kendall Smith. Shine injured wrist, Smith is sick. That's 22.5 points, 5 assists, and guys that have played a ton of games, a senior and a redshirt junior, excuse me, and a graduate senior. So you're missing all that. And Carroll, their leading scorer, the guy that can manufacture points, is on the bench. That's a problem.
Averett finds his way open and will push, penetrate, lob, and then a hard foul. And an awkward landing for Yankuba Sima. He gets up shaking his wrist.
Good pass by Averett. You see Thomas actually kind of just yanked his arm. That's what got him really off balance. And they will go to the monitor and check this.
You know, watching live, it looked like the landing was a whole lot harder than the foul. Sima's holding his wrist. Remember, Shine is out with a wrist injury. He originally hurt it in the Bedlam game against Oklahoma, then got undercut in the game against Texas Tech.
You take a look here. If you see it first, when we first looked at it in our angle, it looked like maybe Thompson got on the body, but you see Thomas, 13, just see him just grab the arm.
Oh,
so he doesn't make a play on the ball, and that's what throws his body totally off balance. And again, this Oklahoma State team playing with just 8 scholarship players. See 13 come across your screen, just grab the arm.
Pat Adams and Lee Cassell talking it over with Ron Groover. We had common foul according to Pat Adams. He was giving Dallin the thumbs up. Excessive or unnecessary, you know, you could argue that wasn't a legitimate play on the ball, but it wasn't a push from behind, which is the most common flagrant one in a situation like this.
Yeah, I think you could make an absolute argument that it was not a play on the ball, but they will say just a common foul. And now Sima, you see him holding his wrist.
Yeah.
See how he shoots it. He is right-handed.
Garona, Spain.
And he can be subbed out. I believe that's what Pat Adams is asking right now. Do you want to shoot these? Averett is telling Boynton he could have.
Now, but it would be Arkansas's choice to pick from the 4 on the floor if Sima were to lose, since it wasn't a flagrant and there is no blood. Sima's short, and he's got another one coming. If there was blood, Sima could leave and anyone on the Oklahoma State bench could shoot. If it was a flagrant, anyone on the bench or on the floor could shoot the free throws.
Got a good arc on that second one, able to finish through his toes and get a good rotation, but he's still working it out with his wrist, but they get back into their 1-2-2 3/4 court pressure.
Here's Barford, puts it on the floor and into traffic. Back out to Macon. A 1-2 punch those two on. Thompson couldn't haul it in.
Great rebound. They need to clean up the glass, and Arkansas, they're doing a good job. Need to continue to crash the offensive glass.
Sima looking for a touch. He's got great positioning and deep. Nice jump hook. Yankuba Sima, he's got 5 now.
That's his go-to move. He's going to go over his left shoulder. He's still a raw offensive player, but he's going to go righty hook over his left shoulder. It's a tough matchup for Jalen Barford to guard on Sima there.
Taken away by Solomon, who got a hand on it. Push up front. Ball fake and a 3. And then Sima crashing. Beard to Barford to the paint. And Thomas draws the foul.
Sima given really good minutes here. Good energy. Almost got that offensive rebound. But
Oklahoma State head job. And one of the things Coach Sutton said is that, you know, we prided ourselves on defense, so much so that we had defense printed on the back of our practice shorts. And Mike Boynton said, fantastic idea. We're going to do the same thing. It's a guy who made his living with relentless defense as well. On the other side, Nolan Richardson. I looked up the numbers today on Eddie Sutton. The only thing he didn't do was win a national championship. So only Cliff Ellis and Bob Huggins, coaches at major conference schools, have more wins than Eddie Sutton without a national championship. 803.
it's pretty amazing. two phenomenal coaches. They're seeing a really good game right now with two teams that are competing at a real high level. Again, this crew with 5 sophomores on the group again, 4 sophomores, and Carroll back in with 3 fouls, 30 and Gray. He's got to be careful. He can't pick up a 4th this early in the half. He's got to be really smart, but aggressive when they're on the offensive end.
Barford back rim.
Barford continues to struggle. 2 for 9 from the field, just 6 points. He leads the SEC in scoring in SEC play with over 20 a game.
And he hasn't scored since the 15:44 mark of the first half. McGriff. Both sides cold. It's been more than 2.5 minutes since Arkansas has knocked in a field goal. Thompson having a hard time from point blank range. Well, Carroll's got to be careful. He's out there with 3 personal fouls.
Crowd wanted the push off there. I'm not sure he extended his arm enough to get it. Macon did a good job of sliding over and cutting him off because Carroll was trying to get out on a break.
Shot clock at 5. Averette wide open. Another offensive rebound, Oklahoma State. And Zagua had one go in and out.
Best time to shoot a 3 off the offensive rebound. Those are kind of shots in and out that can help change the complexion of a game. Could have been up 13 there.
Macon steps through and drew the foul. Our big Monday doubleheader on ESPN, presented by Joseph A. Bank, starts at 7 Eastern. Notre Dame heads to Cameron Indoor to take on number 4 Duke. Then it's a Big 12 matchup between Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks and Kansas State. Sunflower Showdown, both games also available at the ESPN app. Kansas has won 13 of 15 against K-State, but they've split the last 4 played in Manhattan.
It's going to be a great game. It's been a good game the last 2 years. They've battled to the end of those games. Kansas State tournament team, Kansas playing as well as anybody in the country, really. And Duke coming off that loss against Virginia. I mean, those young guys played hard, battled them back into the game, but defensively in the first half, they really struggled to guard Virginia in a man-to-man, which we've seen that all year. That is their deficiency, their inability to guard consistently, and Virginia tests you in that way.
Terrell Macon now has 15. It's an 8-point game. Arkansas trying to pressure. Oklahoma State has blown 3 second-half leads each of their last 3 games.
And that last game against Texas Tech, this is about the time where Tech really, at home, ratcheted up the intensity. Oklahoma State could not handle it. 11 turnovers in that half really led to a lot of easy points, and the Red Raiders got going behind Keenan Evans, 26.
No whistle on the contact.
He's made smart plays all day, McGriff. He had Carroll, their best shooter on the team, wide open in the corner. He had missed him.
What a floater! And a chance for 3 for Anton Beard.
Senior Anton Beard gets the and one and actually has a little something to say to the Oklahoma State Cowboys huddle. And Carroll says, I'm not going to say anything back. Look at that finish. Floater over top of Gasson, 7-foot-long guy from the Netherlands. What a finish by the senior Beard.
It's a second on Gasson, and now Jeffrey Carroll is getting lectured by Pat Adams. And Carroll comes out of there with a smile, and Pat Adams is explaining to Mike Boynton exactly what he had to say to him.
Carroll then made a little motion. I'll zip it up.
Veteran, 5th year out of Rowlett, Texas.
It's interesting because Beard had quite a bit to say to Carroll and the entire Oklahoma State huddle right there. But now, Pat Adams will be very clear. Don't talk back. Not having it.
Carroll is so important for this Oklahoma State team.
And again, he's got 3 fouls. He's playing with 3 fouls with just under 14 minutes left. He's got to be smart in everything he does.
That'll go against Oklahoma State, and Lindy Waters the third with his third.
Could actually see that one coming.
Yep.
And he was just making turn him 3-4 times. He's not a tremendous ball handler, not a point guard by trait. But again, Kendall Smith at home with an illness. He would be running the show right now. He's not there. That's an easy call for the official. A little bit of embellishment for Macon, but he did push off him. But Averette, the sophomore point guard, you got to give him some time on the bench. Trying to steal a little bit of time, Mike Boyden is.
Hall slices through and lost it on his way in. off of Oklahoma State. Big possession for Arkansas, down 6. Coming off the Oklahoma State turnover.
Taking on a look. That was actually off Hall's knee.
Is that the shot they want from Trey Thompson?
Not really. I mean, it wasn't a bad look because the zone was really slow and rotating.
Takeaway by Arkansas on the run. Macon, he reverses it off the glass. It's a 4-point game and a 7-0 Arkansas run. Once again, Waters forced to handle the ball. Solomon bails him out. And the 3 is short. Once again, Oklahoma State opening the door here in the second half. Macon 3. Got it! Waters needs help. He's got Hall harassing him now.
It's the same period of time where Arkansas made a run in the first half, trying to get the under 12 timeout, and they were able to do it there.
On the other side, a guy can carry.
Oh, man, it's money. How about that?
How impressive was that?
It really is. He's 19 for 19 in the final minute of games from the free throw line. So I asked him to do that. It used to be a go-to horse shot of mine. We did it at camps and stuff. I've seen college players. I've seen pros. You don't know how far you're rotating. You're not paying attention to your spatial awareness. You end up shooting it like 10 feet away from the hoop, over the hoop. He does it his first time he's ever shot a free throw, even with his eyes closed, which surprised me to begin with. He does the rotation and he buries it. That dude is clutch.
Maybe he hadn't been playing enough horse.
That's what I said. Dudes not play horse anymore?
Pressure defense for Arkansas continues.
Averett's got to come get the ball. Yeah, he's seen jumping around. He's got to go get it.
Starting point guard back on the floor, and he gives it up. 10-0 Arkansas run thus far. Macon with the dish. And it will be Oklahoma State basketball.
Arkansas struggling a bit from behind the arc. They've had some good looks, but in this half now, they're 1 for 5. They're 21st in the nation. They should be second in the nation with 40.2% from the three-point line. Like 21st in the nation.
Yeah, numbers. They're all
numbers.
They lead the SEC. We know that.
There you go. Thank you. I love you bail me out. You got the almonds going on. You're bailing me out. You're tremendous.
I bought you dinner last night.
That's a bold-faced lie.
Uh-huh.
Looking into Sema, trying to play through him again. Left shoulder, right hand is his go-to. You got to take that away.
They ran a trap at him from Hall, forcing the turnover. Hall working on Solomon. Put back there from Orlando Cook, and it's a first lead of the game for Arkansas. Razorbacks trail by 13 at one point. They're going to stop play for a moment. Pat Adams with a delay of game warning on Oklahoma State after they delayed the throw-in. And Pat Adams is explaining you can't delay it. Well, Lee Cassell told us Oklahoma State. Did he mean Arkansas?
He said Oklahoma State.
Huh.
And Lindy Waters pushing a bad position. Averett again. He's got to go get the ball. But press wears you out.
Yeah.
You mentally and physically. And at this point now, Averett's got to want to go get it. He's got to want to be the guy that's going to lead them over the hump here. Because right now, Waters is struggling. He's got 4 turnovers already. And any time the team in white, Arkansas, sees him with the ball, it's like smelling blood in the water for a shark.
And we're going to tie up away from the ball. And that one's going to go on Daryl Macon after the previous foul was on Orlando Cook.
Something to watch here now, too. Both teams have 5 fouls. Now, Arkansas doesn't shoot free throws well. Oklahoma State, 77%.
Yep.
17th in the country. So they cannot put them in the bonus with a team that's going to struggle to score at times.
Considering Waters isn't the primary ball handler now, could that theoretically take some pressure off of him and open him up to take some shots?
Yeah, it should, but he continues to kind of try to start things off where it should be Averette. Averette did a good job of getting open there. Now see what they try to run.
Lindy Waters had 10 in the first half, hasn't scored in the second half.
Back screen for Carroll. He's going to come off a baseline screen now, see if they can get him. Got him.
Got it to him late.
Yep.
Gives it up for Solomon. Shot clock is at 6. Carroll got fouled by Jalen Barford. A flurry of personal fouls against Arkansas. Now technical foul on Barford. Not only will that help Oklahoma State, but that's his third. Mike Anderson went to a knee after the personal foul, then the technical even more damning.
And that's the problem, is Barford has a gripe there, but as a senior, as one of the team's veterans, you cannot do that. And Ron Gruber rang him up real quick.
And now Jeffrey Carroll from 15 feet and against this crowd.
But now because those 2 fouls, we just said it 15 seconds ago, don't put them in the bonus. They are now in the bonus going forward for the last 10-14 of this game, and they shoot free throws very well.
And those are their first points in nearly 6 minutes, and they come from the free throw line.
And they were reeling a bit there.
Yes.
I mean, they were reeling in terms of just looking like, oh, we're doing this again. It felt like the Texas Tech game all over again, like we need to find a way to get our footing. And they kind of got bailed out there. Let's see if this crowd in Arkansas can ratchet it up again. I'd like to see them play through Mitchell Solomon here in the post, try to get it inside them.
What did you think of the technical call on Jalen Barford? Even if you're reading lips, it was tough to tell whether or not he would have said something that would have earned a technical.
I think it was how demonstrative he was. I mean, Ron Gruber has to know that he made that really wasn't a foul to me at first. I would have preferred Gruber to walk over and say, that's it, you're shutting it down, no more of that. Because he really did make a mistake, in my opinion, with the first foul call.
Averette working on the freshman Hall. Nice crossover. Finds his man, and it's blocked by Trey Thompson. Solomon rejected at the rim. Arkansas trying to reclaim the lead. Beard will pull. And Averette fights for the rebound. Hall stolen away. Hogs in front by 1.
It was a great box out by Averette, but you've got to finish the play and snatch the rebound. Great play by Hall.
Carroll working on Cook. They bring a double to him. Shot clock is at 6. Averette behind his back. Rejected by Beard. Jones wants the lob. It never came. Beard forced the shot. Now it's the Cowboys the other way. Averette short. And Carroll playing with 3, remember. Oklahoma State has missed each of its last 9 field goal attempts.
Mike Boynton just said, hold on, they need to run a set. Like to see something to Solomon, 41 in the post. He wanted it. Averette waved him off. Wants to go one-on-one with the mismatch.
And he gets the touch over the top of Thompson.
And a good timeout by Mike Boynton right there. You're not going to toughness plays. They made big shots down the stretch, obviously, especially Smith's. But they're going to have to do that here today. And they were up 8 at half, and Arkansas had all the momentum. That free throw, that foul, and that technical allowed Oklahoma State to slow it down, but things aren't going to change. They have to be able to handle the pressure that's going to come at them, be strong with the ball, execute offensively. Carroll and Solomon, again, will have to be critical. All that said, for Arkansas on the other side, they need to keep to attack the press. And Beard and Carroll getting into it again.
Oklahoma State led for the first 29 minutes. 0 lead changes in that span. We've had 4 lead changes in the past 3 minutes.
Barford and Macon on the bench right now for Arkansas, so attacking this zone might be a little tough. Chris Jones, though, there's your shooter.
Got it!
C.J. Jones, excuse me.
First triple for C.J. Jones. Arkansas up by 2.
Really one shooter on the court, and sometimes, Beard, you have to know where Jones is. They talked about it in shoot-around. They will have him as a baseline runner. They were not aware he hits a big triple. Carroll's got a mismatch with Beard on him.
Gives it back to Waters for 3. And the answer! A baker's dozen for Lindy Waters. Cowboys up by 1. Freshman Gafford, quiet night thus far, and he's able to draw the foul on Sema.
It was a late whistle, but I think it was the right whistle. That's the first time Gafford's had really one-on-one opportunity. In the zone, they don't double, and he was able to get in there and get fouled and get himself to the free throw line. See if he can make him.
Tell the Sharks, be quiet. Might be Sharkensaw, but Daniel Gafford is shooting towards you.
It's 54% coming in. You see him stand there and hold it up. It's really, free throw shooting is so mental, and he's a great example of it. What happened with the Sharks?
How hot my Shark is right in the middle. I mean, it's
he's upset.
The building is warm, and you're wearing a giant onesie.
Gafford yesterday shot 100 free throws, made 72.
That's
looked
good.
Comfortable, confident.
But there are no Sharks in
But
the
there are no
stands.
Sharks, there's no lights, there's no TV cameras, and he starts to think. Mike Anderson walked over after he was shooting some, and he missed 3 in a row right away because he starts to think again. Big foul by Thomas, again, putting a good free throw shooting team on the line.
It's the 8th team foul. It's the first on Thomas. And Brandon Averette to the free throw line.
And getting them in the foul in the bonus too is critical because we saw how the pressure was affecting the Cowboys. But you're going to be a little more timid in your press if you keep hearing a quick whistle and you keep sending the line. That's a big miss by Averette.
Missed the front end of the 1-and-1. Chris Beard, the head coach of Texas Tech, called Averette the quickest point guard in the Big 12.
He can move, man.
Macon off the bench for Arkansas. The top scorers in the SEC at 16 a game. Beard gets a screen for Thomas. C.J. Jones feeling it. He has now hit 6 of his last 9 threes over the last 3 games. He is hot. Part of 42 points off the bench for Arkansas.
Before that, he went 6 games without making a 3. But now he's feeling it, and now another foul call going to send Lindy Waters to the bench. Jeffrey Carroll's got to know where that next pass is. They're in that matchup. They've got to continue to communicate. Trey Thompson liking the 3 air guitar right there.
Strumming. Lindy Waters a third of the free throw line.
You see Macon right now talking to Pat Adams, trying to discuss the whistles right now, trying to understand what's going to facilitate a call out of the perimeter, because that's where a lot of these fouls are being generated. 23, 24 feet from the hoop.
Pat Adams, veteran official. Daryl Macon, a senior. Oklahoma State will be in the double bonus next foul. And Waters knocks them both down. We're tied at 58. Here's Beard. Back to Thomas, straight away, short.
One more. He had Macon there. You got the best shooter on the floor. One more. He's wide open from 3. Gafford should space him a little bit. Use his length. Don't reach.
Instead, Gafford gave him the bump, and that's the 4th on the freshman.
They switched the high ball screen. Good recognition by Averette to know that he can go at him. And there's Gafford's reach. That's what got him in trouble. Use your length. You got over a 7-foot wingspan. Step back. You know Averette's not a great shooter. You're a foot taller than him. You can contest late. You don't want to get beat. You definitely don't want to foul. But again, he's a freshman trying to learn.
One more coming for Averette. He's got 2. Brandon Averette out of Richardson, Texas, originally signed with Brad Underwood and Mike Boynton at Stephen F. Austin. Followed that staff to Oklahoma State. Underwood left after just 1 season, and Averette stayed behind. Thompson returns behind a really good point guard last year, Juwan Evans, who averaged 19 points and 6 assists a game before going on to the Clippers.
Won't that make you better every day working against that guy?
Yeah. One and 2 from the line for Averette.
You can actually hear Carroll, top of the zone, yelling shooter, shooter to the rest of his team when he's pointing back to Jones and making sure they knew who had ball, which is Macon, the other shooter.
And now Beard off the feed. Tracked down by Carroll.
It's not a bad shot for Beard, but he has struggled in league play. He's just yelling his frustration now. He's shooting 30% from 3 in league play.
Deep 3. Whoa. And it's yanked down by Thompson.
Mike Boynton just looks at his staff, and Scott Sutton just buries his head. There was no reason to take that shot.
It's a game that Oklahoma State once led by 13. Led by 8 at the half. And now Beard. And it's saved by Dustin Thomas. And then almost thrown to Dallin Cuff.
He did. That shot was going up.
They're on their feet at Bud Walton Arena. Under 5 to go.
To actually see Carroll, his left hand pointing to Jones, knowing that is my next pass, that is a shooter.
Mitchell Solomon with his 3rd. Our big Monday doubleheader on ESPN presented by Joseph A. Bank starts at 7 Eastern. Notre Dame heads to Durham to take on number 4 Duke at Cameron Indoor. Then a Big 12 matchup between 5th-ranked Kansas and Kansas State. It's the Sunflower Showdown from Manhattan. Both games also available on the ESPN app. Daryl Macon. Macon came alive last time out against Georgia. All 25 of his points came in the second half and overtime.
He actually said to Barford, I'm going to go. And he did. Did he go?
Yeah, he did.
Man.
Scored 16 of the last 17 in the overtime win against Tennessee. He scored 13 of the team's school record 22 in the overtime period.
What they could use, though, for this game is Barford to go. He's still got 6 points. He's 2 for 10. Leads the SEC in scoring at 20 a game. He's got to continue to be confident and aggressive. Carroll's going to have a mismatch with Beard. He could post him up.
Solomon pass. And the foul will put Cameron McGriff at the free throw line. It's a 3rd on Thompson. Barford's got 3. Gafford has 4. Thompson with 3. And Cameron McGriff, sophomore from Grand Prairie, Texas, goes to the free throw line.
McGriff gave great minutes in the first half, and he really has played well throughout the course of this game, particularly in the first half. Gave them energy off the bench and helped buoy them when both Solomon and Carroll out with foul trouble.
Eight for McGriff. Oklahoma State back in front by 1. Jalen Barford off the mark. And it's yanked down by McGriff. Barford hasn't scored since the 15:44 mark of the first half. His drought continues. He is just 2 for 10 today.
They should post up Carroll. Good back cut, but good read by Thompson. He laid off Solomon. Solomon can't really shoot it, so there was no real angle to pass it.
Here's Macon. Dish. Thomas finish. 3.5 to go.
I'm going to say it again. I think they should post up Jeffrey Carroll if they can break this pressure.
Macon saves it. Solomon on the floor. And we've got A jump ball possession arrow to Arkansas.
Great move by Macon, drops it off, and big finish by Thomas. Hogs are back up.
Calling Hogs here in Fayetteville at Bud Walton Arena. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. 3:23 remaining. What an atmosphere here at Bud Walton. These two teams meeting for the 51st time, separated by only 180 miles. Arkansas has been great down the stretch. They've won 9 of the last 10 games decided by one possession, including last time out in a double overtime win on the road against Georgia. That was another comeback for Arkansas. They trailed by 16 in that one. They trailed by 13 in this one.
This Arkansas team, we know they can score points. You know, they're top in the SEC in points per game, but defense has been the question. 13th in the league out of a 14-team league in defensive efficiency, according to Ken Pomeroy. But Oklahoma State has not scored in the last 4-11. Mike Anderson wants his team to do it with defense. They've started the lockdown. They've done it with stopping the fouling in the last few minutes, not fouling as much on the perimeter, and holding this Oklahoma State team at bay.
They've forced 15 turnovers. Arkansas has turned those turnovers into 20 of their 62 points.
Got 21 second chance points too. A lot of hustle from these Hogs today, but can they execute here? Want to try to see a guy get the ball in the high post, either a bounce or on the pass.
Thomas spins, lost it. 3 minutes to play, 1-point game.
Now Carroll's got Beard on him again, 30. Now they have a switch. I would like to see McGriff come out and screen him, get another switch so the Beard is on him. You can post Carroll.
Carroll up top. Shot clock at 6. Amarant gets a screen from Solomon. Will drive, has it blocked from behind. Shot clock will run out right before Arkansas had a run out. Wow, that was close to being a bucket the other way. Pat Adams blew his whistle on a shot clock violation. If the Hogs had gotten their hand on it right there, Macon would have had an easy deuce, and Arkansas could have added to their lead. That's a huge call.
Huge call. And the right call. Now the question is again, can you execute? Dustin Thomas is the man in the high post. Macon wants it on that wing.
By the way, Carroll got lucky on that play. He had given up with the shot clock winding down. Baseline drive, kick out Beard. Shot clock single digits again. Shot clock at 4. Beard, deep 3 was halfway home. And then a foul on the rebound will go against Oklahoma State and Cameron McGriff. Pardon me, Averett with the foul, his first.
Not a good possession, but gutting it out, and this is a good call by Ron Groover. You see right there, it was almost like defensive pass interference. The NFL, he wrapped his arm around him and kind of pulled him away. Averette giving about 9 inches up to Thomas.
So Dustin Thomas, 5th-year senior from Texarkana, Texas, transfer from Colorado. Tonight at 11 Eastern on ESPN at SportsCenter with John Anderson and Kevin Connors. We'll have a Warriors-Celtics breakdown with a focus on the Steph-Kyrie matchup, as well as post-game comments. Tiger made the cut, playing his first Saturday on tour in 29 months. And the top moments from the day in college hoops, featuring the Big 12 SEC Challenge. Thomas knocks them both down. It's a 3-point Arkansas lead, and they'll show pressure.
And Averette just checked out. So again, the primary ball handler here is Lindy Waters, and he struggled today.
Why take Averette out of the game? And a reach in on Dustin Thomas. Brandon Averette committed a foul on the previous trip.
And
it's only his first foul.
But I mean, thing is, you see Thomas's right arm go into him. Now Waters is going out with his left arm. If Thomas has his arms away from him, freedom of movement, you might get an offensive foul there. You had exactly what you wanted. A ball handler that struggled, that has 5 turnovers in this game, with the ball in his hands and facing the pressure, but he buries the free throw.
Okay, so let me go back to my question a moment ago. As Lindy Waters hits the first of 2, why take Brandon Averette out of this game?
I do not have an answer for you.
And he will come right back in. Waters makes him pay, knocks them both down. Your primary ball handler back in the game. Tavarius Shine is out with a wrist injury. Never suited up today. Kendall Smith also plays in the backcourt. Did not make the trip. He's back in Stillwater with the flu.
Can't play on your heels against this matchup zone. You've got to be aggressive. The weak spot, you can get a guy flashing in that high post. Nobody's been in there almost this entire possession.
Shot clock at 6. Daryl Macon will pull up. And Averette got his hand on it. Oklahoma State with a chance to reclaim the lead.
I'll say it again. Beard is giving up a lot of inches and size to Jeffrey Carroll. Get him in the post. 30 in the dark jerseys. It's your leading scorer.
Here's Solomon. Got deep, lost it. Stripped away by Trey Thompson. And then Beard comes out of there with it. Numbers for the Hogs. Bradford on the step through, lost it himself, and it will stay this way. A little bit sloppy on both ends.
See Barford trying to step through. Averette just gets his hand on there and pops it out. They are going to review. Of course, we're under 2 minutes now in regulation, so they can take a look to confirm that is what happened. Take a look there. Looks like it's off of Averette's shoulder there.
Elsewhere, Kentucky's down 15 at the half at West Virginia. This is a race to 6. And the Big 12 has 4 wins. The SEC.
Wow.
I know you got bigger TVs back in your living room, but the ones we were watching, I didn't see it.
Neither did I, but now Averette's got to manage this pressure. Everett's got to come back and get the ball. There he does.
Under a minute to go. Oklahoma State looking for the lead. At one point, they led by 13. It's been over 6 minutes since Oklahoma State made a bucket. Carroll, hard to the rim, blocked out of bounds. 11 seconds will remain on the shot clock. Cowboys use a timeout. They've made just 2. They are on their feet at Bud Walton Arena.
Key for Arkansas, communicate every screen. If you're switching, come together. Do not allow a slipper to the basket. 11 seconds on the shot clock.
There's Carroll. That's the look, but it fell out. Loose ball picked up by Solomon. Plenty of time left, and Oklahoma State will reset. Solomon's always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Averette fading. An air ball. There's Solomon again. And he gets tied up. And Beard went to the floor. Possession arrow belongs to Oklahoma State. And we're going to foul on Beard. And his
Solomon.
Third free throw's coming for Mitchell Solomon, the senior from Bixby, Oklahoma.
Solomon bailed out that he dribbled that ball, allowed the under 6 foot Beard to get in there and get his hands on it.
Late in the game against Texas, coming out of a timeout, Mitchell Solomon turned to his teammates and said, who's going to make the big play? In the game-winning tip against Florida State. A chance to give Oklahoma State the lead here with 22 seconds left. Two free throws.
Looked like an 85% free throw shooter there. Confident, 20,000 fans going nuts.
This for the lead. Oklahoma State back in front. Timeout Cowboys and Mike Boynton. The
Second half, but within that you may leave shooters open. They've miscommunicated at times. It may be loud. We'll see if they change it up and actually go to man and try to keep the ball in front of them.
Who do you like for Arkansas in this offensive possession?
I think it's got to be Macon. I think if they're going to go man-to-man, you get Macon in a high ball screen and you put Barford in a corner on the weak side so they maybe can't help off him. He can create and kick to Barford if possible, closeout situation or open shot.
Barford just 2 for 11 in this one. Macon is 7 for 13. 20 seconds ago. Beard in the front court. Picked up by Gafford. Arkansas in front.
And this is, you pick.
Clear the net. They're going to have 16.3 left.
For Oklahoma State with this time, you're going to go through Jeffrey Carroll, I believe. I would like to see him again. If there's Beard on him, if you can run a quick hitter where you can get him on the block is what you're going to want. Can't screen because they will switch the screen. He still has a size advantage against Beard. Other than that, it's going to be a screen-the-screener play potentially for Solomon inside.
Carroll's only 2 makes have come from deep. Arkansas shows pressure. Waters has the baseline if he wants it. Looking for Averette. Can't get it to him. Solomon with 16. Here's the handoff. Lindy Waters all the way into the front court. And he got the benefit of the call. Looked like he dribbled it off of his leg.
That's again where Averette's maturation. He needs to find a way to go get the ball, be assertive in that situation so he can turn and he can get them into what they wanted to. That was a chaos situation and almost ended up in another turnover for Waters.
It's a free timeout for both teams. Another official review.
But again,
look at
we'll see who they put on the ball to possibly affect Waters.
Yeah, look how deep Lindy Waters has to inbound his ball, but he's only, by the way, 4 people away from the great Eddie Sutton and his 803 wins at the end of that row.
Pat Adams is backing up Macon, and Macon has some good length to him. He should be active on the ball.
He's got to give him some space. Pat Adams is explaining that to him because Lindy Waters can't back up any further.
Switching everything.
Solomon with 10. Here's a handoff. Waters, bounce pass inside. Solomon, no! Arkansas with the rebound and the foul.
I love the call by Mike Boynton, though. This was the first thing they talked about in shoot-around today. They're like, we are going to run this. We're going to empty a side, we're going to drive at, and we're going to back cut them. And they had Carroll run over the top so he gets singled up by himself. The handoff comes. There's the back cut. And he's going to want that one back. Nice job by Thomas to go straight up and down. He did not foul him there. Carroll just couldn't convert.
So 2.5 seconds to play. The foul is on Cameron Griff. It's 1-1 for Trey Thompson. Came in at 9 of 18 on the season from the free throw line.
Oklahoma State out of timeout. So if this thing comes off the rim, you're going to have one or two dribbles. You can maybe get it to half court and get up a shot. Arkansas, of course, be smart. You want to have somebody around, but you do not want to foul.
Zagwa will enter. Clock
good
will
three-point
start
shooter.
as soon as the ball is touched after it comes off. Thompson is senior out of Madison, Arkansas. Second most experienced player on this team. 1-1.
Arkansas's got to be careful. If it is a miss, do not foul over the back.
Off the mark, DeZagwa's got it. Out front, the heave. Too strong, and Arkansas holds on at home.